Hi, this is Dan. So today I'd like to share a recent tournament game that I played with everybody. And actually, this was the most embarrassing tournament game I've ever had. I actually was checkmated in 5 moves. And as a chess player, I know it's tempting to, if you have a really, really bad game, you want to kind of put it away and never talk about it and not share it with anybody. But I think it's probably more productive if I put it out there, and then hopefully I can maybe help somebody else avoid falling into the same trap. So recently, as white, I've been experimenting with the bird's opening, and the bird's opening is the move pawn to f4 as white's first move. So in this game, I was actually playing against a very strong player, so I thought, I might as well just try something a little bit different. So I tried to play the birds, and this was actually the first time that I had ever played this move in kind of live play, competitive play. So I had played it online, but never in a tournament setting. So anyway, black continued with a really, really aggressive move, which is pawn to e5. And this is the Fromm's Gambit in the bird's opening. And black is willing to give white a pawn in order to generate a really, really fast attack. So you'll see that when white accepts this, which in the game I did accept the pawn, when white accepts this, black can continue with pawn to d6, giving another pawn, and in the game I also accepted this one, and then black continues by capturing the pawn on d6 with the bishop. And now you'll see that black's bishops on c8 and d6 are pointed very, very aggressively at the king side. And this can cause a lot of problems for white if white isn't careful, as I was not in this game. So anyway, in this position, I continued with a very, very important move, knight to f3. And why was this move so important? Well, let's look at what happens if white does not play this move. If white doesn't play this move, then black... So let's say that white wastes a move. We'll just say pawn to a3, okay? Black actually has a forced checkmate in 3 moves. And this checkmating theme partly comes from the fact that the bird's opening, pawn to f4, removes one of the defenders of the G3 square. So the G3 square becomes weak, and actually the entire diagonal from E1 to H4 it becomes a point of attack. So if white is not careful and plays a move that allows the following move by black, it's a big problem. So actually, in this position, black can play queen to h4, check, and if the knight were on f3, it would prevent this move because that queen could just be captured. But as it stands, white is forced to block with pawn to g3, after which black has a really beautiful move with queen to g3. Bishop capturing on g3 also works, but the queen is a nicer, more aesthetically pleasing line. And then black's only choice is capturing with the pawn on g3, and then black continues by mating with the bishop on g3. So this kind of mating idea is what makes the Fromm's Gambit and the bird's opening so dangerous. So that's why in the game I played knight to f3, preventing the queen to h4 move. So black continued with a move that is really, really annoying, and if you don't know how to solve this problem, it can really, really be a difficult one. Black continued with pawn to g5, and obviously black's plan is to push that pawn to g4 and dislodge that knight from its f3 post to allow a whole bunch of different tactical ideas with the strongly placed black pieces. So anyway, in this position I made a terrible, terrible blunder, and I actually played pawn to h4. So take a moment now and find out why that move was so bad. What did black play next? Whenever you're watching a video, if you want to just pause and kind of see if you can find the solution and then press play, I think it's a good idea. Okay, so black actually checkmates me here with bishop to g3 checkmate. So the same kind of idea of exploiting that weakened square on g3 that was weakened by white's first move and also by my terrible mistake, pawn to h4. So had I not played pawn to h4, I wouldn't have lost so quickly. And just so you know, in this position for white, this opening is fine for white. White just has to play carefully. One option is pawn to g3, after which pawn to g4 can be met by knight to h4, and white is up a pawn. And the other line, which I haven't studied too deeply, but I know is also playable, is pawn to d4, followed by black pushing, followed by white moving the knight to e5, and then if black takes, white takes, black has the option of maybe taking the queen, and now white recaptures with the king. White is prevented from castling, but white has an advantage in material, being up at least one pawn. So, you know, it's a question of whether or not white can hold that pawn on e5 or not, but in any case, white definitely has a playable game. So both of those would have been much better than what I played. So anyway, I just wanted to share the line with you. I'll go back over the Fromm's Gambit one more time. The bird's opening, pawn to f4. And you know, when you play this opening, you'll normally see something like pawn to d5, which you can follow up by just developing your pieces. And if you're curious about the actual theory in the bird's opening, there's plenty of material out there. Or you can send me a message or leave a comment. I'd be happy to help you out. But in any case, the Fromm's Gambit line continues pawn to e5, and if white takes, black continues pawn to d6, and when white takes that pawn, the bishop recaptures, developing to a strong square, attacking the king side. And then white plays this move to prevent the very dangerous queen to h4 check. After which, this move g5, I believe this is called the Lasker variation. Anyway, this move g5, attempting to dislodge the knight, and then white I believe should play either g3, like I said, then push, then h4, or d4, then push, then e5, knight to e5. But do not do what I did and move this h-pawn, weakening the g3 square and allowing this checkmate. So I fell into an opening trap, and thought I'd share it with you just so hopefully you'll never fall into the same trap. And also just to show that, you know, losses in chess can be very instructive, often more instructive than wins can be. So if anything like this happens to you, don't worry about it. Just use it as a learning experience, which is what I'm trying to do. So hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm really appreciative of all the support, and I will make another video soon. Thank you very much.